The fall of Blizzard Entertainment.
Blizzard Entertainment used to be known as the company that could do no wrong. They made polished games and fantasy settings that shifted the entire industry. Games like World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Overwatch would gain massive appeal and build huge fan bases. But as the last couple of years played out, everything changed. Suddenly these games were broken, employees were getting exposed and fired, and the gaming community began to turn their back on Blizzard. All of this in just a few years. I wanted to see where they went wrong, so I decided to do some research. In 1990,
I mean, you know, of course, it's hard to build up something. It's harder to build up something than it is to like break it down. Like the moment you fuck up at your job, like on day one, or not day one, like if you're going to your job and you put in like 10 years of like flawless, you know, you go in, you do what you're supposed to, blah blah blah. It only takes one day for you to like fuck up and like do something, or like you came in sick or something and it's like you made like a mistake or something. You're no longer that flawless like person anymore. It's like all of that shit you did before, it means nothing. You're that guy that fucked up that one time.
1991, Blizzard was founded by 3 college students. Silicon and Synapse was the company name at that time. The early 90s was mostly Blizzard working on ports of other games and eventually releasing their own game, The Lost Vikings. In this time, Silicon and Synapse also changed their name to Chaos Studios.
Chaos! Oh my god. Bro, this, like, how old are these guys in this picture? Like, I think I probably would have made a stupid name like this if that was me. Like some of the usernames that I made back in the day, you know, like what the heck did I make? I made some stupid ones like XX Shadow Hunter Edgelord whatever 420, you know, XX Sephiroth 69 or whatever.
We're not quite Blizzard yet, but then something exciting happened. Davidson and Associates acquired them for $7 million in 1994. So Chaos begins working on Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, an original RTS PC game that would mark Chaos on the map.
In the beginning.
What's this? Oh, that's right.
Chaos found that they could no longer be Chaos. Another software company owned the rights to that name. So, once again, they had to change it.
So this is where they settled on Blizzard Entertainment.
Dang.
Blizzard would release Warcraft, and holy crap, it had multiplayer. You can play this game with friends?
What?
Remember, playing with friends wasn't very common in gaming back then. And fans loved it. So Blizzard immediately started to work on a sequel. And 1 year later, 1995, Blizzard shipped Warcraft 2: Tides of Darkness. Blizzard took everything they learned and turned it into a new level of polish that was unseen by the gaming industry.
This looks so much better.
Of course, Blizzard is feeling good now. They're a recognized developer with fans on their side, enjoying their time at conventions and meeting fans and other developers that are in the space. However, one day at a convention, they bumped into someone who was working at a studio called Condor Games. And Condor had been working on a secret game that nobody was willing to help them publish. Condor would present a tiny project called Diablo.
Condor was developing Diablo, and the project was going so well, and we enjoyed working with them so much that we wanted to make them internal studio part of Blizzard. So,
nice.
You know, in a very short time, Condor became Blizzard North.
So that's exactly what happened. Blizzard purchased Condor Games and renamed them to Blizzard North.
What a great fucking pickup. Like, that's crazy. Like, they just found like some dudes working on a game and they're just like, hey, you want to come work with us? Yeah, sure.
Blizzard was working on so many games that would need better social and networking functions, so Blizzard also got to work on a piece of software called BattleNet. 1997 is a big year for the company. Diablo was released, and I was born. These two things aren't related. Diablo was this epic game where you fought your way through hell underneath a city, trying to find and destroy Diablo.
Find this butcher and slay him, so that our souls may finally rest.
Your death will be avenged.
This is a pretty epic premise for a game back then. Diablo 1 did extremely well, crossing 1 million units sold and really establishing Blizzard as a dominant figure in PC gaming. Fans loved this new experience and really liked the high-quality cutscenes. This began the foundation for the
bro, look at these like graphics for the time.
Coming reputation of Blizzard cinematics. 1 year later, everything changed for Blizzard. 1998 was the year of StarCraft, finally releasing, and holy crap, 11 million copies sold? It was a worldwide success. This gave Blizzard the growth potential to do whatever they want. A change in leadership did come this year, with co-founder Alan Adham stepping down as president, with Mike Morhaime taking his spot. Mike Morhaime became the face of Blizzard for years to come. Jumping to the year 2000, Blizzard is in full swing game development. Diablo 2 would sell 1 million copies in mere weeks and is referred to, even this day, as the best action RPG game ever made.
Yeah.
Seemingly able to do no wrong.
I never played Diablo 2, or actually, the couple times that I did play Diablo 2, it was always like at my friend's house, and these guys lived like slobs, you know? It was like, because like when I played it, I was like 10 or 11, and I also went over there to play D&D, and it's like, yeah, it's like, it's cool that like the dad was like, I don't know if he had a job or whatever. I mean, I think at the time it was like really cool that I got that experience to have like an adult like set up a D&D setting for some like 12, 13, 14-year-olds without it being weird, you know? That was really cool, because I think like those couple D&D sessions like were like some of the first experiences I had with like gaming, like on a PC, no less. And I think it was just really cool, just all around.
Wrong. In 2001, Blizzard North starts to work on Diablo 3. Around that same time, Blizzard would kill an internal project called Nomad and pivot it to a new style of MMO game. This would lead to the announcement of World of Warcraft.
There it is,
Blizzard
dude.
had no idea what was about to come. In 2002, Warcraft 3 released. It was fully 3D and had ultra high quality cutscenes that the gaming community had not seen before. These were loved by everyone, and the game became the fastest selling PC game in history. So in 2003, they added an expansion. Yet another critically acclaimed success for Blizzard Entertainment. Let's just look at the big picture.
At this point, it seems like Blizzard cannot get enough W's in their corner, you know? It's like impossible for them to collect an L at this point, you know?
You're here for a second. Blizzard is cranking out new games consistently that are massive successes, breaking records and gaining tons of new fans. We are now going into 2004. Blizzard is known by everyone in gaming. There's a lot of eyes on their products now because people are expecting these high levels of quality. Co-founder Alan Adham would leave the company early this year to focus on being with family. But the rest of the year, the teams are hard at work for the November release of their brand new game, World of Warcraft. When WoW released, the first week was a bit of a mess. I guess just like these days, even 20 years ago, big name online games weren't playable because of server overloads. Funny how some things never change.
Yeah.
But after the server...
No, it's been getting better. Like over the last couple expansions, I think the releases have been getting better, but like, I mean, I would know, I haven't really played World of Warcraft in like years or whatever, so, you know.
Servers were fixed. The name of the game got around. World of Warcraft was a game where you got to create a custom character in a fantasy world and join your friends to fight monsters and level up. And instead of a one-time payment, World of Warcraft was a monthly subscription. And in just a few months had 1.5 million monthly subscribers.
Dang, that's huge.
This is known as the mainstream explosion of Blizzard.
Yeah.
It's now 2005. World of Warcraft got too popular too fast. Blizzard needed more resources to keep working on this game. They basically halted the production of every other game they were working on, so all hands...
Bro, I remember that time for like World of Warcraft. It's like year after year, it was like I would go into GameStop. Yeah, or was it EB Games at the time? I think it was EB Games at the time. And I would look on the wall of games or whatever, and there'd always be that PC section of games, and there would be like they'd always like advertise like World of Warcraft, like come pick up the box or whatever. And they had a gold sticker on the box, and it was like every new batch of like World of Warcraft games that they ordered or whatever, the sticker number increased every time. Like it was like, I don't remember what number they started putting the sticker on, but I really remember it going up to like 9 million, 10 million, 11 million, 12 million every like batch or whatever, which was crazy.
Could be on deck for WoW. Diablo 3 had been in development for years at this point, but looking at the current state of the game, the executives decided it was just too outdated looking. So what did they do? They shut down Blizzard North and canned that version of Diablo 3.
Oh my god.
That is intense. World of Warcraft also spawned the first ever BlizzCon that year, which would be a huge convention for Blizzard going forward. Fans from all different games that Blizzard makes could come to a big show.
You know what's funny? Like I'm kind of out of the loop on this, but are there any game developers that have like a, you know, like a game dev convention anymore? Like there's like for modern gaming, it's like there's so many AAA companies that's just like L bad garbage on release, trash. You know, it's not even beneficial for like AAA game companies to make a convention to celebrate all their stuff anymore, which is kind of hilarious if you think about it.
And meet the developers as well as other fans. This was a cool idea for an event, and I've been to a couple of them. Of course, World of Warcraft would be the vast majority of why people came. This is also the year of the famous Leroy Jenkins incident.
Yep.
All right, thumbs up. Ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
This video would be the first piece of PC gaming content that found ultra mainstream media.
Oh yeah. I remember watching Jeopardy one time, and they actually brought this they referenced this clip. It was like something about, hey, for this online video game, you can join and play with heroes like Leroy Jenkins. And then the answer would be like, what is World of Warcraft? It was so cool. I was like, I used to play that.
What game is it?
World of Warcraft.
So let's Leroy Jenkins!
The re-upload alone has 20 million views, with probably 100 million across the history of the internet, if not more. Through 2006, Blizzard would keep seeing a rising player count with the success from World of Warcraft, growing the company from 400 to 1,200 employees. Wow. They even announced a Warcraft movie. The game was so hot they needed to make more content. So in 2007, they released the first expansion, The Burning Crusade.
Yep. I think when I first started playing WoW, I played like vanilla a little bit when I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13. And I played like right behind me when my room was like set up different. And I played on this like gigantic, disgusting, like gray, big chunky monitor, like PC or whatever. And I think my first class was like a mage or whatever. And then I think I got up to like level 12 or something. I forgot the original name of it. But like, I just stopped playing because as a child, it was just too difficult for me to like grasp what the hell was going on. And I was just like, oh, maybe I quit playing or whatever. And then years later, I think it was in like middle school, maybe, that, I mean, that doesn't make sense, but like, I did start playing again in TBC.
I'm not prepared.
This would sell 2 million copies in 24 hours, which is just incredible. Remember, this is still a monthly subscription as well. Also, BlizzCon came back this year and would become a yearly tradition. Players got to play test an early version of StarCraft 2, which was awesome.
I saw StarCraft 2 and it was like, wow, I might have to quit WoW eventually to play StarCraft 2.
And there was also another WoW expansion announced.
Yep.
I watched with pride as you grew into a weapon.
This takes us to 2008, the beginning of a major controversial decision. they decided to merge with Activision. Also, there was a lot of acquisitions that happened in this time that I didn't add into the script.
In 1994, the young upstart Blizzard had been acquired by Davidson & Associates, which was later bought out by CUC International, which merged with HFS Corporation to become Senate, but after Senate was found guilty of accounting fraud, it sold off its entertainment division to French company Havas, which that same year was bought by Vivendi, which then, in December 2007, announced it would be merging with publishing juggernaut Activision in return for a majority holding in the ensuing company.
So that's how we got here.
All right.
Activision, as we know today, would slowly kill this company. But right now, the effects couldn't be seen. The second expansion for World of Warcraft is released, The Wrath of the Lich King. These were truly some great times. World of Warcraft would hit 10 million monthly subscribers.
Yeah.
Each expansion would break records for the fastest selling PC game of all time.
Year after
and
year.
Going into 2009, Blizzard looked for more ways to capitalize off the massive player base from World of Warcraft. So a secret project called Hearthstone began. 2010, I look at as
Hearthstone was badass. Like when it first came out, you know, it's like I never played. Well, no, scratch that. I played like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh before that, and then for them to come out with like a digital card game, I was like, oh, I wonder how this is gonna go, and I thought it was really cool.
As the height of Blizzard Entertainment. 12 years after the release of StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2 releases. 1 million copies were sold on day one. Fans loved it, and Blizzard was on an ultra-hot streak. StarCraft 2 was everything players loved about the genre. It was incredibly skill-based and brought a ton of quality-of-life changes. Exactly what the fans...
Yeah, I never played StarCraft. I thought it was cool to watch or whatever, but like, yeah, it was just... Like, I think my friends tried to get me to play it or whatever, but I was just too, like, bad at video games at the time to, like, comprehend what the heck am I doing.
Fans were wanting. Blizzard also released their third World of Warcraft expansion, Cataclysm.
There it is.
This era of World of Warcraft is just amazing. And it's reported that they hit 12 million active monthly subscribers. Whew.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money. There was a lot of good happening at Blizzard. There was also a project called Titan, which we know is later called Overwatch, that was leaked to the public along with a massive list of other secret projects Blizzard was working on. After that leak, the GM of their Chinese office was immediately gone. So we can connect the dots. This was also the year of the famous forum debacle. The official Blizzard forums had gotten pretty toxic in typical gaming fashion, so Blizzard wanted to clean it up. What was their solution? Deleting your username and replacing it with your real name. Yeah, that did not go over well with the community, but Blizzard was so sure.
I remember that, like, when that first came out, like, I never had a Battle.net account or whatever. Well, I did, but, like, I never went on the forums. And, because I just, like, started reading everything that happened or whatever, with, like, people thinking, like, oh, this is going to be the worst. If you insult someone, they're going to know your real name. Yeah.
That this was safe and normal. An employee even made a post with their real name instead of a username just to prove how great and safe it is. Just to then have their address and phone number immediately found.
Yeah.
Safe to say Blizzard would walk this policy back.
That was a big L. Huge L on Blizzard. The first.
Now for the fun stuff. BlizzCon 2010.
Welcome to BlizzCon 2010!
This would be an iconic BlizzCon because players got to see Diablo 3. It had been a long time since we had heard anything about Diablo. This would all...
I loved playing Diablo 3. I mean, I didn't play it on PC. I was one of the filthy casuals that played it on like Xbox 360 when it came out, and I played like every character up to max level and started farming for like endgame gear. It was so fun. I don't know how many hours I sunk into that game. It had to have been like hundreds, maybe even close to 1,000.
Also be the beginning of the famous red shirt guy, an icon in the PC gaming community. Basically, at BlizzCon 2010, a kid wearing a red shirt walked up to a Q&A panel and asked a question that stumped the developers about their own game.
It said that Falstad Wildhammer was going to be on the Council of Three Hammers, but in the beta it's Kurdrin Wildhammer and Falstad is not in the game at all. What happened to him?
Ooh.
Isn't Falstad dead? From Day of the Dragon?
Thanks for pointing that out. We're gonna get that fixed.
Thank you.
Bet.
He found an inconsistency with the World of Warcraft
Get dunked on
story that the developers would then go on to fix with an update.
Yep, because of the question that Redshirt Guy asked at BlizzCon and the subsequent events that followed, Blizzard essentially put Redshirt Guy into the game.
Yeah.
The Redshirt Guy.
That is actually really cool that Blizzard did that. So cool.
Became an icon and would go on to ask amazing questions at every BlizzCon for many years.
And it's so funny because he maintains that same character from the first time that he asked that question.
Years to come. He became so famous that the community would applaud.
I wonder, like, because you see right here, this is like a Tommy Hilfiger, like, red shirt. I wonder if he kept, like, the exact same red shirt or whatever. Or maybe got, like, a bigger size or whatever. But, like, I wonder if Tommy Hilfiger actually sold more red shirts because of this dude.
Pause when it was his turn to ask a question. This is how loved he was. The developers showed their respect for him too. And this is what BlizzCon was all about. This is such a great time in gaming history and culture. Now we're at 2011. Things are going well. Both World of Warcraft and StarCraft 2 have huge player bases. Diablo 3 is right around the corner. But another gaming company called Valve, who makes Portal, Half-Life, and Left 4 Dead, filed a massive lawsuit with Blizzard over the Dota name. In an argument of who owns what when it comes to modding games and the shifting culture in developer, publisher, modder relations, Valve would win the right to publishing their own game called Dota. As we know, this is a massive loss for Blizzard. 2012 comes around and Diablo 3 is here, baby.
This is a message to the people who work for Blizzard.
The error was basically a prompt message.
We can get the servers down, the servers are down!
But it restricted the players to enter into the game.
Ah, crap. This isn't going well. Diablo 3 had a rocky launch that was plagued with server issues, and players were gutted to see a new feature added called the Auction House.
The in-game auction house. Perhaps the first time for Blizzard where you could spend in-game money and gain player power. What a W for Blizzard. Everybody loved this feature.
Basically, instead of playing the game and grinding for powerful gear, you could just buy it with real money instead, which defeats the whole purpose of grinding this game in the first place. This invited a ton of issues, and 1 year later, they would walk back the auction house to the point of removing it.
Will be shut down on March 18th, 2000.
And fans...
What an actual smart decision by them, removing the auction house. Like, it is so uncommon nowadays for Blizzard to, like, walk back anything that they do. Because they are just so, like, in their heads about they're the developer, they are right.
Celebrated. Diablo 3 would be looked at as a pretty great game, but many hardcore fans consider Diablo 2 to be the superior. 2013 is the first time we begin to see the fall of Blizzard. Things aren't bad yet, but we start to see inklings of the mindset of how the developers look at the players. At BlizzCon, a fan walks up to ask a question.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
Ooh, in the beginning.
No.
No.
And by the way,
you think you do, but you don't.
You don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
Oh man, he's still probably eating that when he said that.
Remember that one bug that really pissed you off that we fixed like 2 years ago? Still there in the past.
It's funny because classic servers run by other people would go on to gain a ton of popularity.
Yeah.
Blizzard would shut them down. And the perfect ending to this, of course, is spoilers. 6 years later at BlizzCon 2019, they eventually announced these classic servers.
You think that you want this, and I think maybe that you do.
Oh my god. I mean, he's being a good sport about it. And I think that was like healthy, you know? I mean, because, you know, sometimes you say some dumb shit and then it turns out it's not true. So, and I think it's really smart. And it just shows that he like grew from it or whatever. I can't imagine like all the hate or whatever that he got from that statement.
2014 now, Hearthstone time. Hearthstone released as a free-to-play card game based on World of Warcraft characters. Hearthstone was designed to be a simple card game that was easy to pick up and play against your friends. You could even play it on your phone. And it gained 20 million players in 1 year, which was a really big accomplishment for Blizzard trying the free-to-play model. Hearthstone was a nice alternative to games like Magic the Gathering, who had not really invested into their digital products.
Right.
BlizzCon 2014 is here, and Overwatch is announced. A new FPS game that was built around their canceled game, Titan. Fans were excited about this new experience. Around this time, World of Warcraft had really started to cool off. It's 10 years old now, and almost 5 years since its peak. Yeah, we're moving pretty fast through this timeline, which means we're about to hit the ugly side of their downfall.
Yeah.
In 2015, World of Warcraft subscriptions hit their all-time low with 5.5 million players.
Oof. And wasn't this about the time? Because like up until this point, I think year after year, Blizzard would always come out and state their current concurrent players at the time, like per year or whatever. And it was like on this the second they had like a downfall or like a downtrend, it's like, okay, we can't be doing this. There's nothing that says we have to release our like concurrent player count or whatever. Because I mean, it made sense, you know, to like gloat while you're on top, you know, over 10 million subscribers or whatever, like back in Wrath and Kata or whatever. And then when you have like a downturn, it's like, oh shit, we can't show that anymore. It's bad marketing.
After this report, we never received an update on player count again.
Yeah.
Blizzard would release Heroes of the Storm, which never really took off to the level they had hoped. Beat out by Riot's League of Legends and Valve's Dota 2. Overwatch was getting close to releasing, and they held a beta for players to be able to test the game. But there was a slight hiccup. Players had a really hard time getting into the beta. It felt like only popular streamers got to play, and this made the community a little disappointed. So they nicknamed the game Only Watch. But other than that incident, the game was still looking really good. 2016, my personal favorite year in all of Blizzard's history, Overwatch is released. And this game was a smash hit. It won Game of the Year, went on to sell 50 million copies, and would give Tim the Tatman and XQC to the world, and Nateson.
I remember back in the day watching those guys.
Yeah, sorry about that last guy. But Overwatch would blow up so fast, Blizzard tried to piece together a competitive scene. At BlizzCon, they announced a brand new hero as well as the official Overwatch League.
Dang.
A place.
Yep, this was the beginning of the end. And this was at the point where Overwatch League tried to make it seem like it's like a legit thing and try to do like a real sports thing for video games. I mean, which was like in theory was really nice, but in practice, how they did it was really stupid.
This where the best players in the world could get paid an actual salary to play on official teams. This was super cool for anyone who aspired to play at a high level. The last note on Overwatch for this year, this game is considered the last game from old Blizzard. The magical charm and polish that Blizzard was known for ended with the release of Overwatch, because going forward, things would take a drastic turn. 2017, BlizzCon has 35,000 attendees, and expansions across all of their games are announced. It's also worth mentioning that BlizzCons usually held tournament finals at them as well. You'd be able to find the best StarCraft, WoW, Overwatch, and Hearthstone players competing on the big stages. The Overwatch League would also begin this year, with players like XQC and Seagull competing. The biggest news from this year was that World of Warcraft Classic was being developed for an actual official launch.
We hear you.
We hear
you.
Which
was great news for WoW fans. And also, at this point in time, YouTube and Twitch had exploded amongst the gaming community. As we all know, and clearly you're watching this on YouTube, these websites became a home for people and content. This meant Blizzard would have some breakout stars across their games. People that you could relate to that had dedicated their life to some of the same games that we both play. Asmongold is my personal favorite, and in my opinion, one of the most entertaining streamers I have ever seen. This year for Blizzard was overall the calm before the storm. Then came the fall. 2018 would begin the absolute downfall of Blizzard. Mike Morhaime, one of the original founders, announced he was stepping down as president and CEO.
The president of Blizzard Entertainment, J. Allen Brack.
Yep, this guy would take his position. But all hope was not lost, guys. Do not worry, a new Diablo game was announced.
Dang, they kind of looked at each other very like intimately right there.
A new mobile Diablo game was announced. Puzzled fans got on
Diablo Immortal. This, I never played Diablo Immortal. I only watched it, and oh my god, there was just, it was so funny watching people play this game.
The microphone to ask questions, starting with a new red shirt guy.
Hey,
that's kind of ironic. Blizzard actually, if they ever do like another BlizzCon, they need to actually ban like anybody that has a red shirt on. They're just allergic to people with red shirts.
Just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
Ooh! Oh my god, I remember watching that. I was watching BlizzCon and this guy came up. Oof.
Questions like this would continue, and one more would go on to create a famous moment in internet history.
Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Ooh. All the booze.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you.
Oh, do you guys not have phones? Another L. Oh my god.
Alright. You can play on your tablet too.
Blizzard got torn to shreds.
Yeah.
Disrespecting fans at an event they paid to attend is pretty lame. Do you guys not have phones would forever live on as a meme to this day.
Oh yeah.
We believe Blizzard learned a valuable lesson that day. Do not present mobile games as exciting flagship titles to a PC gaming audience who hasn't had a new game in a long time.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear about a scuffed mobile Diablo when we're still waiting for PC Diablo 4.
Yep.
And we especially don't want to be disrespected while we're at it. In 2019, Blizzard would continue into Freefall Dive.
Yeah, that's like a PR thing. They didn't like talk to him right before he went out there.
Beginning with the massive layoffs of over 800 employees.
Let me just give you his comments there on 2018.
Oh boy.
He stressed that the company did see
Bobby, the man, Kotick.
This record revenue and earnings. Job cuts could be coming. Apparently, maybe even significant ones.
Net revenues for 2018 were at a record high. They are still laying off upwards of 800 people.
There was no forewarning, no prior communication. They had to find out through rumors posted on the internet at the same time as the rest of us that they might be out of a job.
Remember when I said it wouldn't hit anybody that we know? Yeah, that was dead wrong. That is absolutely
This would start a shockwave across the industry with heavy criticism towards Bobby Kotick for not reducing his pay. And after this awful start to the year, Blizzard would finally release World of Warcraft Classic, which was loved by fans.
I was there on, I think, day one of Classic. It was awesome because like everybody spawns in at about the same time. And like to see everybody in that starter zone and just everybody do a conga line like out into the world, and like, you know, everyone is like running to all the quests and everyone's fighting over mobs and the mobs are just hyper spawning and everything, and you're just clamoring to get a tag or something. It was really cool, and it's like a very unique experience that like it's like it is really cool. If you've never done it, like be there on like hour 0 and like the servers actually work, but it's something else.
This was a nice moment the community got to share after nonstop bad news.
You think that you want this, and I think maybe that you do.
Yep.
The nice moment did not last long. The Blitzchung incident occurred.
Activision Blizzard. It has suspended a gamer and taken his prize money away.
This has become an enormous international story.
This is yet another huge Blizzard L.
It headlines all over the world.
Personal relations disaster.
Yeah.
And they are so deserving of it, dude. Blizzard
deserves.
In a live-streamed Hearthstone tournament, player Blitzchung won thousands and then proceeded to say during the post-game interview. Immediately scrambling, Blizzard deletes the VOD and then bans Blitzchung while also stripping him of his earnings. Even going further, Blizzard fired the casters who were on that stream. At the same time, a social post from a Chinese Blizzard account would condemn the actions of Blitzchung. Blizzard would go through one of the worst PR disasters in gaming history.
That was hilarious. What is this? Please tell us more about why you are canceling your World of Warcraft subscription. I made this game with the team. I am opposed to Blizzard's fear of China and the silencing of Blitzchung. I'm calling on Blizzard to stand up for what is right. Oh, man.
Fans saw Blizzard side with China and NetEase, who owns an Overwatch League team, instead of focusing on what's right. This began the hashtag boycott Blizzard.
Well, here's the thing. When there's massive amounts of money involved, the gradient, what is right and wrong, it's really blurred when there's massive amounts of money involved, and especially with a huge audience that is China.
Blizzard movement.
Even people within Blizzard are pretty upset. The Overwatch community is trying to turn Mei into a mascot for the Hong Kong protests, and even collegiate Hearthstone players are firing back, calling for a boycott of Blizzard.
A college Hearthstone team even held up a sign during an official tournament. This was all happening so fast. The entire internet, mainstream media, and government officials turned on Blizzard, so Blizzard had to walk back. They gave Blitzchung back his earnings.
We now believe he should receive.
Yep. Oh, wow. We now believe he should receive his prizing. Okay?
Receive his prizing.
And reduced his ban sentence along with the others that were involved. Now, we're towards the...
When it comes to adults and huge companies, the only reason they apologize is because they got caught doing something incredibly stupid and they're getting grilled on social media for it, at least in the United States. All right? The only reason they apologize is to save face. That's the only reason. You know, they're not actually sorry. They're just sorry that they got caught and are taking all the heat.
End of the year, which means it's time for BlizzCon. And after everything that had happened, yeah, this is going to be interesting. I was there at this BlizzCon. People were protesting with signs outside of the convention, with lots of attendees also wearing Mickey Mouse themed apparel, which was supposed to be a jab towards the head of China. With me
because he looked like Winnie the Pooh.
Attending this event, I saw firsthand what this was like. You could tell people were on edge about what Blizzard would even say at this event.
Yeah.
So the announcements began with an apology.
Before we start the opening ceremony, I want to say a few words. You know, Blizzard had the opportunity to bring the world together in a tough Hearthstone esports moment about a month ago, and we did not. We moved too quickly in our decision-making, and then, to make matters worse, we were too slow to talk with all of you. And for that, I am sorry, and I accept accountability.
JL and Brack came on stage and apologized for the entire situation and owned up to their mistake as a company. And after the apologies, and knowing Blizzard fans were owed...
I mean, honestly, whether or not... he seems like pretty apologetic in this or whatever, but the only reason that this situation happened was probably because they were taking too many losses. They weren't... I think something like some of the Chinese companies, they just wanted to completely sever ties with Blizzard in China and make it so that Blizzard couldn't sell their games in China anymore. So, yeah.
Something good. They finally revealed Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2.
Choked with corpses. Unthinkable destruction.
Let's get you back in the fight.
Just what we were hoping for.
Oh boy. Overwatch 1.2
also announced Battlegrounds, which would be a new way to play the game. This was overall a very good BlizzCon.
I totally forget what I'm supposed to say right now.
Now going into 2020, fans are mostly trying to hear more about the new games that are in development. Still fighting a PR nightmare from last year, Blizzard released Warcraft 3 Reforged, which is a remaster of the same game 18 years prior. This game changed everything, and not in a good way. It was a horrible, broken, and unfinished mess.
Jeez, was it this bad?
Worse than the original game from almost 2 decades ago. It changed the way the gaming community felt about Blizzard's game development. Usually, Blizzard was one of the few developers you could trust to make a polished and finished game on release. But the Warcraft 3 remaster changed that perception and killed more goodwill with the player base. Now fans are questioning if Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 are in trouble.
Another L. Common Blizzard L at this point.
Activision Blizzard still, this entire time, had been releasing yearly Call of Duty games. In 2020, though, they did strike gold with Warzone, which was a free-to-play battle royale.
Oh, yeah.
A perfect storm because everyone was staying home during the pandemic, and COD having its first innovative game in a while that was also...
I mean, Call of Duty, as a franchise, decided to deviate and do, like, a BR because, at the time, things like PUBG, H1Z1, and I'm not sure, but, like, Fortnite was a thing. BRs... like battle royales were the popular genre at the time. So for Call of Duty, if Call of Duty were not, if they didn't make a BR, they would probably be taking like a huge, like huge losses if they didn't come out with like some sort of version that had a BR.
Also free, Warzone would set a new trend within the company.
Yeah.
Battle passes would now be slapped on everything. Within years over.
The birth of modern gaming. Gaming as a live service.
Overwatch, Hearthstone, and Diablo 4 would also have this microtransaction system implemented. Let's move on to 2021. As we all know, 2020 was the beginning of worldwide lockdowns. This meant there was no in-person BlizzCon, so Blizzard held it online this year.
Usually, I'd be speaking to 40,000 of you in person at the Anaheim Convention Center, and millions of you around the world.
We heard usual updates about all of the games, but we also got a Diablo 2 remaster. We also got to hear a lot more about Overwatch, specifically about the PvP and the PvE, which was the main part of the second game. This is the single...
the PvE. Dang.
Worst year for a company in gaming history. Jeff Kaplan, the beloved head of the Overwatch team, announced his departure from Blizzard with only a single paragraph goodbye. The Overwatch community was in shambles over this.
He just wanted to say his goodbye and just dip the fuck out of there. He was done.
I've met Jeff Kaplan many times personally, and I was so sad when this news hit. But clearly Jeff saw something coming internally that none of us could imagine.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need to talk about Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard is being sued over frat boy culture and harassment.
And I want to make this very clear.
Oh boy.
This is not a twit longer. This is not a disgruntled e-girl. This is the state of California.
I think at this point it's safe to say Activision Blizzard is the most evil video game company ever.
Seemingly out of nowhere, story after story,
the curtains have been lifted,
began to surface about company culture at Activision Blizzard. Constant harassment and frat boy culture that was running rampant through the company. The lawsuits began stacking up. The state of California had to get involved because the stories of abuse had gotten so bad. Many developers and popular Blizzard figures would get thrown out of the company because of this. A lot of the characters in Blizzard games were also named after employees, so we had to see the
McCree
naming of those characters. It's clear why some of the star talent had been leaving at Blizzard over the last couple years. The culture had gotten so rotten that they wanted no part. Many employees even began protesting against the company amidst this difficult time.
Activision Blizzard employees plan to hold a walkout.
With massive turnover, layoffs, and protests, game development came to a halt across all of their franchises. Fans who had been hoping for more Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 news found themselves instead watching a burning fire at their favorite studio.
Yeah.
I want to add my firsthand experience as well with Blizzard employees. After hearing their stories, I was quite honestly heartbroken. And I got the chance to meet many of the developers and community team members on the Overwatch side over the last 5 years.
Is this the PvE?
And I was always shown kindness, including from Jeff Kaplan himself. Many of them I really do consider friends. There's a lot of good people at that company, and that's why it sucks that a couple of bad people really just ruined it for everyone. 2022 came and started immediately with news that Microsoft would be acquiring Activision Blizzard.
Deal news of the morning, Activision being bought.
And I think since all like Blizzard's collecting all the L's recently, it's like I think this was a time when like people started to become like very attached, maybe not so much to the game, but more the brand of like where the game came from, you know? Because like earlier in the video, like Blizzard was like just coming out with bangers year after year or whatever. And it's like you start to develop like not really like a relationship, but you associate a brand name with like a level of quality or something. And then year after year, like currently, it's just the company just can't help itself but fuck up in some way, shape, or form. So yeah.
Bought by Microsoft.
Blizzard Activision is getting bought out by Microsoft
for $68.7 billion.
That's a lot of money.
Deal.
This split the gaming community,
with
some saying that the state of the company meant this was necessary, with others worried of a monopoly and Xbox's recent streak of bad games. Sony, in particular, worried about their PlayStation consoles, fought hard against this decision and would go to every government body they could to stop this. With Xbox recently buying Bethesda, this would mean that Elder Scrolls and Fallout games could be exclusive to PC. And buying Activision Blizzard means that Call of Duty and Overwatch would be exclusive as well.
Dang.
Bobby Kotick, the head of Activision, is very motivated to see this sale complete because he reportedly has a golden parachute worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Oh yeah.
He does not care if this is good for the company.
He don't care. He's just trying to get that bag. Anything you do is easily justified when it comes to collecting the bag.
He just wants some of that infinite money. Blizzard then announced that Heroes of the Storm would enter maintenance mode, which effectively meant no new content would ever come again. Expected by most, but sad for the players that still enjoyed this game. Next, Diablo Immortal, the infamous mobile Diablo game, would finally release. And to absolutely nobody's surprise, the game was peak greed.
So apparently this claim is accurate. To fully max everything on a single character, it'll cost around $100 grand.
So this is actually fake news now. It's actually way higher. It's actually close to like somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million to like fully gear up in Diablo Immortal. So this is initial estimates when the game first came out.
It wastes no time trying to get you to spend
800% extra value. This meme was actually hilarious. 800% extra value.
Money by using every trick in the book. Let's start off simple. After completing the first mission in the game, they throw this one-time offer in your face that has 6 bajillion extra value.
It took a ton of money to progress your account, and players tried to figure out what it would cost to complete the game, finding $500,000 or more to max out everything.
So you go through the store, what else you got? Oh, a battle pass. Nice, because no game can go without making a battle pass.
Modern gaming, catering to a modern audience.
Now, surely that's enough though. Surely the battle pass will be able to make them enough profit. Oh, a monthly subscription.
I didn't even know there's a monthly subscription. That is so fucking funny. Or whatever. It's like, aren't there like multiple versions of the battle pass? And then you have to complete the battle pass or whatever, or else you just can't do it anymore.
This is a mobile game. And yes, this was probably meant less for the Western audience, but it still just felt like a slap in the face. At least after all the criticism, they tried to make it playable on PC. Speaking of PC games, yes, that platform Blizzard hates making games for.
You guys not have phones? Yeah, you guys all have phones.
Overwatch 2 released before the year ended, without PvE, the main draw of the new game.
Yep.
And it was suspiciously similar to Overwatch 1. it was clear that the game was a microtransaction overhaul patch. Overwatch 2 was essentially an engine update with new microtransactions and one less player on each team. Yeah, there's nothing else. Yeah. I'm not kidding.
Overwatch 1.2, 1.1.
The PvE, that was the real part of the 2 in Overwatch 2, we just have to wait for now. Supposedly late 2023, we might see this. What a massive mistake. Pulling the Halo Infinite card where the game wasn't ready, so the main features are just released later in bits, is so lame. This is such a tell on the current state of Blizzard compared to the old. The passion for polished, finished games is gone. Overwatch 2 is the PvE.
It's an industry standard, I would argue, almost, to come out with a game that is not polished.
Overwatch 1 is still what we're playing. This would never have happened 10 years ago. Now, reaching modern times, 2023, the Microsoft acquisition still hasn't gone through. Every month there's more news of some government approving it or having a hearing. We're still waiting to hear a final decision, but it's apparently very close. But some good that came out of 2023 so far was the Diablo 4 beta, which looked overall promising. And that's where we're at so far. The rise and fall.
It's only a matter of time. Remember, it's only a matter of time until D4 will turn into garbage. You know, everybody's all hyped up. Oh, there's no possible way they could ruin Diablo 4. There's no possible way. It's not possible yet.
All of Blizzard. What was once the greatest PC game developer of all time has turned into another AAA game studio that has lost interest in their fans. Maybe it's Activision that started all of this, and if Blizzard remained a private company ran by passionate people, this video would not exist. But for now, we can only hope that starting with Diablo 4, we can get back on track and start to rise again. Thank you for watching.
Surely. So, this video was awesome.
The entire industry. Games like...
This video is freaking awesome. Like, I love this. This is a great historical breakdown about the rise and fall of Blizzard and a nice little edible chunk. This was great. I love this. I mean, I'm still like I have to like separate, like when you're playing games, it's like you have to be able to separate yourself from like the culture of the game studio from the game itself. It's like as I'm becoming older, it's like you start to care about things that you didn't used to care about when you were like a little kid or whatever. So, I mean, it's understandable. But like it's kind of like if you watch like a stand-up comedy special for some person, but then that person turns out to be a complete utter like shitbag, like they get arrested for some dumb shit they did or whatever. Are you able to separate yourself or separate that like single stand-up special from the artist that did it or whatever? Like Bill Cosby used to do like stand-up, and he was a good stand-up, but you know, it turned out later he did a bunch of shitty things or whatever. So it's like, are you able as an adult to separate the person from like that little piece of work? I mean, then that's only going to be like up to you or whatever. Yeah. Same thing with Blizzard. Can you separate like the shit that happens behind the curtains and all that from like the game that you like to play? You know, hopefully they don't fuck up D4 or whatever. I mean, I'm really hoping D4 is good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Good video overall. I want to see more, but take it easy, guys. Later.